Well, hello again. So good to see you. Chuck McLachlan here. Thanks for dropping by. You know, it's so nice, all the compliments. I want to thank you for that. And the emails and, all that stuff you send me. And I'm so glad that these are going over well with you. And I certainly hope you're doing well with your painting. And today we're going to do a little something that sometimes people are afraid to do. But we're going to walk you through it, a little sketching, a little drawing, and things like that. A lot of people just don't want to touch that. I can't draw. Well, if you start out with I can't, you're already done, see? Henry Ford said, if you say you can or you say you can't, you're right both times. So it's pretty simple if we break it down. Now, certainly talent makes it easier. But you can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. Okay? All right. Now, certainly we have to have paper. This is a 100 weight paper, and it's smooth, and it's 22 by 30. It's a large sheet of paper. You can sketch and draw. Sketching is one thing, drawing is another. It's just a finished sketch. And I do a lot of them. Mine are simpler because all I need is lines to tell me what I'm going to do. I do the rest of it with a brush. You'll reach that point. But in sketching, we're going to start out with several things. And I usually keep a little sketchbook handy and some paper always in the car. And this is one. And this was a sketchbook a fellow artist brought me when I was in the hospital, and she brought me this. She'd done some too, and instead of chasing the nurses, she said, here's a sketchbook. Go ahead and work on this." So I did, but I didn't realize that this was hers. I was full of medication, so I just worked on her sketchbook. So. Anyway, these are just little sketches, little ideas, and that's all a sketch is an idea that you want to put down on paper. And we're going to work toward our own sketchbook, and this is called a field drawing book, and you can get them in any size. And I put down where these things are. This is in Elkton, Maryland. And this is the Pamagood Light, and this is the Blue Ridge church over by the Blue Ridge Mountains. And see, when I sketch these, I have my own little book, and I take it to bed with me sometimes, and I have my own little book right there. So my kids like it, and they go through it, and people that come to see me, they go through it. So it's nice to have. And that's where we're going. That's where I'm going to lead you toward that. So don't get all bent out of shape because it's pretty simple. All right? Are you ready? Okay. My material is, of course, 100 weight drawing paper, hot press smooth. And all I'm going to use, I can use any soft lead pencil. This happens to be graphite. And there's no wood on it, and this happens to be one with wood, and this is a Sharpie. They're pretty simple. So one of the reasons I like this is because it doesn't waste away like this. This you have to keep sharpening it, see? And I used to carry a knife with me until I cut my fingers, and then my wife said, "No, you can't use the knife anymore." So what are you going to do? Anyway, these are all good things to have. So you can see it's not an expensive deal, okay? I use my 25-cent sketch pad, all the paper that they throw away, all my emails and stuff and I put it on a clipboard. And I do my rough sketching or my rough drawing here, and then I transfer it to my famous book, see? So it's nice to have, and when I pass away, my kids will take these drawings and sell them for an exorbitant fee. All right? Okay, let's get. Are you with me? Is that you, Mary, up in Boston? How are you? Good. Good to see you. And Mary's good. She's good at this. She's good at drawing. But anyway, let's start, and then you're more than welcome to email me or email Jerry's Artarama here in Raleigh, North Carolina, or wherever you are. We have them all over the world. And they'll have somebody to answer your question. Okay? So, what I first, I come upon a subject, and or maybe I've seen it, and it's in my mind, and you know, my mind is crowded because I get paintings going around in my mind all the time. I don't put them down on paper or canvas until I'm sure I know how to present them. And yes, I sit at the subject matter, and I'll draw it, and then I'll take a photo of it, but I don't work from the photo, I work from the subject. So these are my first things right here. I put a border or a line around that's going to be the same proportion as what I'm going to draw, as what I'm going to paint on. If I'm going to paint on a 22 by 30 watercolor paper, that's about the proportion. Or an 18 by 24 canvas, that's about the proportion. And this is called landscape. Now, because it's horizontal, and I don't know who thought that up, but he had to be a brain, or she had to be a brain to think that up, you know. And this is what they call a portrait. And they call that portrait simply because, you know, that's mostly what we do. We paint them vertically. We don't paint them horizontally. So this is portrait, this is landscape, and this is what you'll be doing mostly, is this, okay? I do a lot of florals on this, but here it is. And so I'm going to split this paper, or what we call break the paper, and that's called the thirds. That's academia. Isn't that something? Academia. That's the thirds. So I've just divided my paper into thirds, and where these lines intersect, those are called the golden spots, or the best place to put your focal point. Okay? They're not in the center, and we'll address that later on. But that's the start of it, okay? And I'm going to do something from my mind, my little mind that I've seen 100 times, and as artists, that's our best asset, is the fact that we look and we see what we're looking at. Now, we don't always put down what we're looking at. We put down what we want it to look like, okay? But I don't want to get into that just yet. So I'm going to just, this is a road, the road home. When I go home to my abode, and I live in Level Cross, North Carolina. Anybody know where that is? Yeah, Level Cross. And so this is the road home. And I see a lot of these things at night, and there's the woods that come down like that, and watch this. Now, this is not a thumbnail. This is just a quick study or placement of where I want the shapes on my paper or canvas. Can you begin to see it? There's a little, we have a lot of spruce trees out there. That's where Mr. Petty lives, you know, 43, car number 43. Yeah, he lives out that way. Level cross. We have one traffic light, and we're having a meeting. I think it's next week to see if we should take it down because nobody pays any attention. You know, they just drive right through it. So I'll tell you all about that on the next one. It's right there at it's the only crossroad. It's the only light we have. We don't even have street lights. In fact, we don't even have a sanitation department. We just have a woman come in twice a week, cleans up the town, and that's it. But it's wonderful out there. Okay? Now, you'll notice that I'm at the end, and I've just done a little sketching there, see? So these type of pencils will last just a lot longer, and that's why I like them. But the other ones are fine for what we call thumbnails and quick sketches like this, see? So when I travel home and I see this little hill going back here, okay? This is a rough sketch. This is just to place the shapes on my paper or on my canvas. Don't you see? All right? So we have landscape, and we have probably 5 o'clock at night, and the sun is going down a little bit, and my wife has just called me to say, where are you? And I have supper ready, and she doesn't, you know, sometimes your favorite stuff is, well, you know, married 44 years. I'm used to it. You know, if it isn't burnt, you know, we don't eat it. We wait till it burns, then we eat it. But that's why I don't hurry home. Anyway, I'm just kidding. She does a good job on toast. Now, this is just a very simple sketch or rough thumbnail drawing, thumbnail where I want things to go. And look how many shapes I have. I have one shape here. I have this, that's 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 shapes. And I could meld them into one or two. And so all I've got to do is take my brush and my material or my pigment, whatever I'm going to use to paint this with, and that's what I have. I've simplified everything. You don't see any rocks. You don't see any the squirrels or the leaves falling, or you don't see any sunset, or you don't see any, you know, it's all color and shape. That's what I'm used to. And I used to put everything that was in the photograph or in my mind, I'd put everything down there. Everything. The squirrels, everything, I'd put it down. And before you know it, I had the page filled with absolutely nothing. I couldn't see what I was trying to tell you. You understand? Okay, good. If you have a problem, you know, just give us a little buzz on the phone. We'll talk to you. So this is what I'm trying to get you to do. Don't put all the leaves on this. We'll do that later on with the brush, and I'll show you how to do these things so that you can you feel a little freer. Notice how I use the side of the pencil also. See? I didn't break anything, did I? And this is legal. You can do this. There's no rules. If you do this, and you make the tree, and you put this here, and you put this here. See, you get so tight, you're in here. You don't want to do that. You want to stay nice and loose. And you notice I don't have an eraser. I do use one occasionally when I go to the final drawing. And I've got a lot of drawings that I've given away and I've framed and so on. And a lot of sketches, especially from the Louisiana and down that way when we had the Katrina come in and all that. And anyway, I don't want you to go like this. Don't go like that. That inhibits you. It just keeps you in these lines Here I'm free and I'm outside the lines. Nobody has ever said to me, Chuck, can you help me get tight? You've always said, Chuck, how do I loosen up? You start with the sketch. You loosen up with the sketch. Okay? You got that? All right. Let's go on. We're going to go on to the next phase because remember I said we were going to work toward our own personal sketchbook. And so I'm going to show you how to finish this off when I get to the sketchbook, okay? And you'll have this. Oh, this was in Keene, New Hampshire. I almost ran that guy over. His dog was barking at me. But I'll show you how to get to that point, okay? All right, good. Thank you for coming by. It's been a quick little demonstration, and I'm going to have a series of these. One, you know, a series is more than one. You know that. Isn't that right, Mary? Mary used to come to my classes up in Boston. I'm not from Boston. Actually, I'm from Providence. I don't know where Mary's from, but I met her in Boston. Anyway, we're going to continue this little lesson, and we're going to show you a few things, and I hope you enjoy them.